At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
And Doug.
Here we have the Lemur Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu? Is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Welcome to The Last Show. I'm David Cooper. And in Australian googly-eyed vandalism news, we are joined by foreign correspondent Tony Five, live in London, England, who is an Australian googly-eyed vandal expert, probably. Tony, welcome to the show.
Indeed, David. One of my previous Groupons about googly-eyed, very expensive sculpture damage, my friend. A very specific Groupon I got there. It was a Christmas 2-for-1. Mount Gambier in Australia. It does sound like a very different place. A young girl, I guess it did say how old she was, but it mistakes me so far, but she's not very old.
She's 20. It's a 20-year-old girl from a southern Australian city, a small town. Okay, keep going.
And there was a big, a blue sculpture. It's to do with the lakes and the seas nearby, and it was a big thing. It cost the local council 136,000 Australian dollars, which is a hell of a lot of money. And it was called the Blue Blob. She put these ridiculous googly eyes on it. So it made it look almost like a Monsters Inc. Disney monster, like a character. In fact, so many people said it actually improved this sculpture. It should look fantastic or whatever. But when the googly eyes were removed, it chipped the paint and it cost $2,500 worth of damage, my friend.
It's exactly right. And she was charged. And I feel like this is a common form of vandalism, actually. Taking sculptures, taking paintings, taking any public objects and slapping on gigantic googly eyes to make them, in my opinion, better. But that's
True.
exactly what happened. And she was arrested. She was taken to court. I don't know what she's charged with, vandalism, I guess. But when the town council tried to take off the googly eyes of this sculpture that had this lacquer blue paint, there were two white spots where the paint was chipped. And that is costing the city $2,500 to fix. Can't they just spray paint over it?
Well, that's what they've done. So the image actually is it all masked up, ready to be painted again. But $2,500 for a paint job is a hell of a lot of money. And apparently previous to this, in the first couple of weeks it was there had some paint chips anyway. So I think it's a sort of, it's a very aggressive way to pursue this young lady. But this thing is quite weird. It represents like a mythical, I think it's going to be something like the Loch Ness Monster of megafauna, so huge sort of plant-based stuff that was found in that southeastern part of Australia. And it's the color, the city's color, the iconic color of this blue lake. So it was a very deep sort of blue, apparently sort of very, very akin to that lake. And people didn't like it. I think the general public didn't like it anyway, and especially the cost. I think, I don't know what it's like in Canada and Australia and America, where local council spends a hell of a lot of money on just rubbish. Does that happen over there?
I mean, I live in New York City. This city has definitely spent money on rubbish. I would say maybe upwards of hundreds of trillions of billions of dollars on weird sculptures and weird parks and things like that. Yeah,
correct. So we have them here as well. And then usually the sort of local residents just sort of kick up a fuss. And it's always down to someone artsy-fartsy person who thinks it'll improve the living arrangements of like local people without actually helping the people who are homeless.
True. I mean, isn't that the great beauty of democracy? We spend money on stupid stuff rather than helping people.
Yeah, there was one. I can't remember when it was. Maybe when I was growing up, and I remember it vaguely, where they made a monument to a homeless man who had passed away whilst not spending the money on the homeless people who lived around that homeless monument.
That is a certain irony. But I don't know. I guess she should be charged. I guess it's a crime to vandalize. But what if you do a great job vandalizing? Shouldn't they take into account iconic vandalism? Like for example, Banksy. He's destroying buildings, but when he does his graffiti on buildings, it's beloved. I think gigantic googly eyes on a weird blue blob statue in Australia, I don't know. I feel like she should get a light slap on the wrist because it was such a great vandalism. And I think the city should have left the eyes on because honestly, it looked better with those eyes.
I'll be honest with you. I think she should get a scholarship to the local art university because that looked fantastic. It's better than the actual one that came out. It's fantastic. I'm reading about it now. And then the actual local council had loads of backlash before it was even built. People were saying, what are you doing to this sculpture? So, I think it was good. And I think her putting it on was a slight protest to it anyway, because, and I think it looks better personally. So if you go online, guys, and you want to have a look at it, just type in Blue Blob Australia, and I guess it will fire up on your search engine of choice.
Yeah, and let Tony know what you think. Was it better with the googly eyes or better without them? Tony@lastshow.pizza is his email address. He is ready and waiting for any and all emails. Let's go to our next story here.
Oh, this is a good one, David. This is. It has everything to do with what I like. Dystopian life plus being in the UK, David. Let it go, my friend.
All right. So first of all, smart fridges, just no. Like, why does your fridge need to be smart? But Samsung is selling a fridge with a gigantic touchscreen on it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And to make matters worse, on your fridge, you can get targeted ads. Correct. This all sounds like a horrible product I would never buy, allegedly, because I don't want to get sued by Samsung. Yep. I don't know why I can't say that word today. Okay, so this woman who's got some mental health issues, whose name is Carol, has a smart fridge in her house. Okay.
Yep.
Alongside all of this, there's a new Apple TV show called Pluribus, which is actually really good. And the main character, Carol, is not infected with this zombie virus that everyone else in the world is. So the world is turned into a hive mind, and they start talking to Carol in weird ways on billboards, on any screen. The hive mind will talk to Carol.
Yeah, in the plural. So every person on Earth, bar about 6 people, is essentially one person. So they call each other we. So, every other person is the same person. Carry on, David.
So this fridge, as part of an advertisement for the show, just displayed, "We're sorry we upset you, Carol," which, if you watch the show, makes sense because that's what the hive mind is saying to Carol all the time, things like that. But this unwell woman named Carol in the UK saw that ad and it set her off. And, I think maybe she was hospitalized, very sad. But a family member was asking online, can we sue? Can we disable these ads? And it just what a horrific 2025 style problem to occur to somebody.
Well, actually, what it was is she was actually very aware of her mental health condition and called up and sort of checked herself into A&E because she believed she was, at the initiation period of having a psychotic episode. So luckily, she didn't fall into it, but she felt that it was a trigger for her and sort of sent herself to a local accident emergency or casualty or A&E ER room, I guess you guys would call it out there. But it does open up a wider discussion about how much, what appliances are going to, there are smart kettles, there are smart toasters, and they are smart fridges. Now, from what I know of these smart fridges, they analyze what's in your fridge. They can actually tell you, if you text the fridge, what ingredients you've got to make a certain food. So, for example, if you've got eggs and stuff in there, it does that as well, as well as having these sort of adverts.
That's not a fridge that I would want, but I guess I understand why people would want them. But yeah, you got to be careful with what you're showing people in their house on screens because it might set them off. Tony, thank you for covering the weird news of the day with us. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Always a pleasure, David. I'm going to go to my smart toilet now.
I hope you're feeling a little better too. How you been?
I've been good, my friend. Been good.
Tony 5, foreign correspondent.
My name is Jordan, and I'd like to invite you to join me on The Canadian Gothic, a podcast covering stories of Canadian crime, mystery, and the offbeat. The Canadian Gothic blends the spirit of late-night talk radio with the depth of a documentary film and applies that approach to both developing stories and historical cases. So if you're drawn to the dark, mysterious, and offbeat, search for and subscribe to The Canadian Gothic wherever you find podcasts.
You are listening to Canadian Gothic.